The iPhone 12 Pro Max, it's finally here. But does it live up to expectations? Let's find out. So the iPhone 12s this year are going back to the boxy design of the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5. Personally, I think it's pretty good. However, it also makes the device feel a lot larger in the hand, which doesn't really help when the phone sizes this year have gotten a bit bigger from their previous sizes. That goes for the iPhone 12 Pro as well as the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, there are advantages to having a boxy design. It's a lot more efficient and you can fit a lot more components. The battery capacity in last year's 11 Pro Max was 3,969 mAh. However, in this year's 12 Pro Max, we've only got 3,687 mAh. Now that equates to 1 hour less battery life compared to last year's. In comparison to this year's other models, the iPhone 12 mini has a battery capacity of 2,227 mAh and the iPhone 12 Pro has a battery capacity of 2,815 mAh. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I went with the Pro Max was the bigger battery life. What I found myself doing a lot was having to charge my phone or even bring a battery pack with me. Not having to always charge your phone or worry about battery life is definitely good. And considering the iPhone Pro Max is only £100 more than the Pro model, it was definitely an easy decision for me. Phone Arena have run some battery tests, and according to them, the battery life for browsing is actually an hour longer in the iPhone 12 Pro Max. However, YouTube streaming was around 20 minutes less. This is due probably to optimization on Apple's side, and it could also depend on the app you're using. Of course, developers, as they have more time with this phone, with the new processor, they can optimize a lot better for the battery life. One of the things I was worried about was the size. I'm coming from an iPhone 10. This year's iPhone Pro Max are bigger than last year's Pro Max. It's only a small amount, however, when you're talking about handheld devices, millimeters count, and you'll definitely feel it in your hand. I've got relatively small hands, and that was a big worry for me. I'm coming from a smaller phone, so I'll give you my perspective on that. I've always liked the idea of having a bigger screen, as I use my phone a lot more than I use my laptop. It's always with me, whether I'm on public transport or even just at work. The bigger screen is definitely going to be a plus when I'm watching media or Netflix or whatever it may be on the go. Speaking of the bigger size, we are actually getting a bigger screen to phone size ratio. That's because of the thinner bezels due to the boxy design, as opposed to the curved design in the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now that means that although we're getting a slightly bigger phone, we're getting a lot more screen. The screen this year is a lot better. It's got better HDR, more brightness, and an improved shatter-resistant glass called Ceramic Shield. We are also getting a new processor in this year's iPhones, the A14. Now it's the same processor across the whole line. This year's A14 Bionic chips are faster than last year's by quite a lot. The single core scores are around 1600 for this year's Pro models compared to 1300 for last year's Pro models. And the multi-core scores are around 3900 for this year's Pro models compared to the 11 Pro models, which were 3300. The standard models have a RAM of 4 gig, whereas the Pro models have 6 gig RAM. The other new thing in this year's iPhones is the MagSafe charging. It's more or less the same as your typical wireless charger, except the charger actually snaps into place because of the magnets on the back of the phone. I chose not to get any for now because I already have wireless chargers. The iPhone Pro models come in 4 colors: graphite, silver, gold, and Pacific blue. They come with 3 storage offerings. For the iPhone 12 Pro Max, it starts at $1,099 or pounds for 128 gig. For 256 gig, it is $1,199 or pounds. And at 512 gig, it is $200 or pounds more at $1,399 and pounds. Another reason why I went with the Max model was the better camera system. We're getting a larger sensor as well as a bigger aperture lens for the standard lens. We're also getting a 2.5 zoom for the telephoto lens as opposed to last year's 2 times zoom, which means that we're also getting up to 12 times of a digital zoom as opposed to last year's 10 times digital zoom. The ultra wide camera is the same. Last year we had optical image stabilization, but this time the image stabilization is going to be at the sensor. The lenses themselves are actually larger, which is why they're only in the Max model, as opposed to having them in the smaller models, which might be a bit too much considering their size. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll be doing a future video to let you guys know how I've been with this new phone. Of course, I'm coming from a smaller phone, and it's going to be a bit interesting with my small hands to see how I've adjusted, or whether I like it, or if I should be returning it. However, if you did like the video, please give it a like. Consider subscribing, and I'll be doing a lot more tech videos, including the new PS5, which we're getting a week later here in the UK. It's a bit of a bummer, but the hype train is still very much alive. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.